Alright, welcome back. So, we want to create a pre-live scene and a post-live scene. So what I mean by this is, we have something running which starts our stream. So our stream starts, and you've seen this by our broadcasters probably, like sometimes they have like a countdown clock before they really start talking to you, or they are just showing some video footage or some slideshow. And we're gonna create something similar here for us today. And I'm going to give you some options on what you can do here. So the first thing is we need, of course, a new scene. So let's create that. I'm going to call it pre-live. It's a little bit of a misnomer, but by live I really mean, you stepping to the mic and starting to talk. So pre-live does not mean that your stream doesn't have started yet. Your stream has started, but you are not interacting with it in any meaningful way so far. And so the pre-live scene, it needs some overlay, of course. So we do not have a pre-live source in our Soothsayer list of sources here, but we can create our own from scratch. So let's do that a little bit here. What we're gonna do is I have here all my sources about Soothsayer and streaming. So I'm going back to streaming, and I have already downloaded the themes, Cast-Aloft and Cast-Aloft SD, as you should probably have too. So I'm just gonna go here to the Cast-Aloft scene. It doesn't matter which one, you can pick either. And I go into images, and you see there's some stuff in here which we can use. And I'm particularly interested in these fairly blank titles over here. But I want something with a frame. So like these white areas here, they are actually transparent. So this is where you would put in your camera or your gameplay or something, right? So I want to still show something in my pre-live screen, like maybe a video is playing in here or a picture slideshow or something. So I actually want this. But I don't want the match summary in the top. So I'm going to combine this with that. Okay. So what we're going to do is we just take this match summary and where is it? Here it is. We just want to drop this into our OBS, and that creates an image source right in here. And it's currently called postgame.png, which is a bad name. It's just the file name. So we're gonna rename that to pre-live frame. Locking this. And now I want the top part to be different. So I'm gonna go and drop this file. Just drop it on OBS. And of course it is blocking everything. So now either it is blocking everything or I put it behind the everything, and now it's not visible at all. So I need to do something smarter here, of course. So we're holding down the Alt key. I'm just gonna crop this away. You see? Here's the old overlay, or the first image we imported, and this is the first image. The second image we threw in here. And now I'm just gonna make sure that it only covers the top part. Like that. And I lock it, and now I have this nice little frame, but nothing in the top. Okay. So that's good. Now let's talk about like what we can actually put into this frame. So we have here I'm going to present two options to you. The first one is a slideshow of images, and the second one is a video. So what kind of images do we want to show? Well, if we go back to Cast-Aloft images, there's like nothing in here which I'm really interested in showing as a slideshow. So if I go back to my OBS sources and go here into images, Heroes Hires, and this has some really nice large images of all the different heroes which are in the game. And this is what I want to slide through. Okay, I want this as a slideshow, everything which is in here. So I go here and I add a new source, and I add an image slideshow source. Gonna call them pre-live slideshow. Okay, and now we have a couple of options here. The first one is how fast should they swap out. So this is currently set at 8,000 milliseconds, so 8 seconds. That's fine for me. The slide mode is here automatic, and that's also fine for me. I don't want to manually do this. Transition fade looks usually nice, so you can keep that. So the next one here is always play even when not visible. I don't need that. I can go to pause when not visible, or I could, because I'm only showing this once in the beginning and maybe at the end, I could even go with stop when not visible and restart when visible, right? So that will probably save a little bit of memory on the computer. But I think pause when not visible, unpause when visible is also fine. If you want to loop, so if we reach the end of the slideshow we just started at the beginning, and I want to randomize it because otherwise it would be alphabetical and everybody would know which hero would be the next one. And you know, it could be a fun game maybe for a chat to play, but whatever. I'm gonna randomize it. They can bet on that too. Okay, now the image files, we're gonna hit the plus icon here and we say add directory. And now we are already in OBS sources, so I go to images and I hit hero hires. That's the one I want. I select that and it already starts. Okay. Alright. So here we are. So all these hero portraits, the important part is obviously the face. You want to see which face we are dealing with here. So first of all, we are bringing it back. So they are not in a perfect wide camera aspect ratio. So we have to make it work a little bit here. So we attach it so that it goes into the top corner, top edge of our frame, and we just make it large enough that it fits into this frame. We could probably make it larger if we want to, but then there's the danger that we just cut off too much here at the bottom. Alright, and we are interested in the upper part of these portraits, which is usually showing the hero face. So this is what we do here. And if we lock that, now you get an idea of how this looks. Okay, so this is the slideshow, and we could be fine with this. It's okay, but there's more. We can do more. So let's do a video, right? So what if you don't like the slideshow? What if you want a video instead? That is something we can do. We go to add and have here a media source. Alright, click that. Let's go pre-live video. And of course it's going to be a local file. You could also actually link to some video file on the web if you prefer that. But it's a little bit more trickier. So of course you need some kind of video you want to actually show. For me it is actually under, I have one, and I think it's just called HotS, which is a very boring name. So the video you want to loop when it reaches the end too. You have, I mean, it depends on the video. If it's like a countdown video, you probably don't want to loop it. And then you have some more options here. You have, you could restart the playback when the source becomes active, so it would start from the beginning again. I don't want this because it is actually showing gameplay, and I don't want to show the same gameplay if I go back to the pre-live. And something which saves some memory is close file when inactive. I'm gonna activate that too. Speed at 100%, that's fine. And I hit OK. Now I have a massive video in here, which is the size of my screen, or the size of my canvas. That's a little bit too big, so I'm gonna crop this down to roughly my camera frame here. Because it's gameplay, I can actually also get rid of, for example, the Discord overlay over here, or what's happening over here, or what's happening down here. That's not that interesting, really. So let's first of all, let's get it behind the frame so we see what we are dealing with. And now I just like just like zoom it out, just arrange it in a way that it becomes a little bit more interesting, so that we only see the gameplay here. Something like that. Or maybe the camera, the minimap, doesn't really matter. There's like some stuff poking out here on the bottom. And now it's a little bit bigger, right? And people can see the gameplay better. And it's still pretty centered because it's gameplay. It's centered around the hero. So I have died. Okay, you're gonna lock that. And that's the second option you can put in here. Just some gameplay happening. Which is something like your viewers can look at while waiting until you go live. And you can put these in the order you like. If you like the slideshow more, you can do this. Or I mean, you probably decide which one you want and then just put that one in. And that's totally cool. I now have them both in here. Alright, we are not done yet. We want more information on our pre-live screen. So now we have like something for the viewers to look at. Let's do a little bit more. First of all, there's no music in here, right? So that's something we want to change. Like currently it would be pretty boring to look at. There's a pre-live video, but I don't want the game sounds to be playing here. So I'm actually just gonna mute that. Right? There's no need to actually have the sound of this video running here. It's just something to look at. Oh, now I noticed that my talents are still showing because I picked up a new talent. So maybe we keep it like that. It's not important right now. So we want some background music going here, like some epic music which is just running. And I have something like that. You need to make sure that it is royalty free. But there are like royalty free videos on YouTube, for example. You can find some royalty free music which like hypes you up for some game. Let's go here into resources, and here I have like a background music .mp3, so I can run this really quickly. So it sounds something like this. Yeah, I mean, you get the idea. It's just like some stuff, right? Just your cliche random action movie music kind of thing. Okay, so we want that playing in our pre-live scene, but we don't want it to be playing during any other scene. So this is why I'm actually not creating a new scene for that. I'm just creating a new media source. And that's gonna be the background music. It's a local file, just background music.mp3. And this is something we want to loop. We don't want to restart it though. And show nothing when playback ends is fine. Alright, so just hit that, lock it, put it all the way to the bottom because it's sound. And here we are. So now we have this music running here, and you can see it's actually pretty loud. It's like in the red. This will not want to be. It's background music. It has to be in the background. We're actually gonna bring this all the way down to the middle of the green part here, maybe a little bit lower even. You could have this background music running in your draft, and it might be cool. Just make sure that it is not too loud if you're actually talking. So if I go here into the draft, let's see where my headphone microphone is. It's like just in the yellow, right? If I get really excited, it would go into the red, and that's fine. It's probably a little bit too loud even. You can draw it down a little bit, something like here. So now your background music should be like maybe halfway to what your usually talking loudness is, if you decide to put the background music into that. So I would actually even go a little bit further down here. Okay. So that is the background music. We need more. We need more things. We need some match information over here. So let's add some match info. So what we want is we want to have like team name 1 versus team name 2 in here. The versus part is something Soothsayer cannot give to us, so we have to create that one ourselves. So we add a text source, call this the versus text. And now, I don't think I've talked about the text font ourselves yet, so let's have a look here. We can select a font, and the font which we are using a lot in these overlays is actually Nexa Bold. So we're gonna use that font here too. And it's just versus. I think I can get rid of a period here. So now, what color should I pick for this? I want this color here from this top bar, right? So I'm gonna select color, pick screen color. I'm just gonna select it like from this bar, like that. Okay. So now let's position that a little bit where we want it to be. It should be somewhere here. It's probably a little bit large right now, but we're gonna fix that in a second. So because there's a video running in the background, and the video might have all kind of different colors, we want to put this like on a background color actually and give it some opacity. So we will have a background color. And oh, actually, sorry, I want this to be white. I'm gonna change my mind here. I want this to be white. I want the background to be the color of this. That's gonna be better. And currently there is no opacity for the background, so it's not showing. But if we are cranking that up, so maybe to about like 75 or maybe 70%, you'll see the background will show up, and you still have like some of the video shining through. And that is what I'm after here. Okay, alignment. I'm gonna put this into center, everything centered. And now what I'm doing is I put use custom text extend, because I want this box to reach all the way from here down to here. So use custom text extends. Well, first thing you notice is it's a little bit bigger, but now I can. You don't want to manipulate here. You don't want to like drag on this. What you want to do instead is actually use these numbers down here. And with the scroll up key, you can now make this as large as you need it. And do some fine adjustment, fine tuning with the up arrow and down arrow key. And you do the same for the height. Make this a little bit larger. And something like that. Right? You can fine adjust that. You can lock it to see if it's looking good. Maybe it's like a little bit too far over here. You can also make this window a little bit larger so you can see it better. But I think it's fairly good. It's probably overlapping a little bit here. So let's do this to 1250. That's like a reasonable number. Let's unlock it for a hot second here. And let's have a look. Oh, it looks a little bit better. Maybe one more pixel over here. Okay. So now we have the box, but you see the versus is not really in the middle. And I think that's a little bit disappointing, to be honest, about OBS. That if I say center, it's not centered. Alright. So what we have to do, and I hate doing this, but I don't know how else we can do this. I'm just gonna put some spaces here in front so that it is roughly in the middle. Something like that. Okay. Hit OK, lock it. Alright. So that's good. Maybe to make it even more visible, we're gonna add an outline. So we add an outline, select the same custom color from before. Pick screen color, please. Here we are. And just gonna give this 5 pixels, I think. So this is the same color as the background, so it will be not very visible, but it makes a little bit of a difference, I guess. Maybe we pick a different color. Where's our outline? Alright, select. Maybe we select this here. Okay. Why is this so? Okay, here we go. 10 pixels. Alright. Now we have a nice fat border. Okay. Now it has an outline. It's a little bit better visible. Maybe it's a little bit too large. We're gonna have a look at this again when we enter the other text fields. It doesn't need to be perfect right now. You can fiddle around with these things as much as you want in your own time. So the next thing is we want the left team name, and here we want the right team name, but we want OBS to pre-populate these names for us. So we're still gonna just make a text source here, and we call this one blue team text. We select the same font as before. That was Nexa bold. We probably want this one to be much smaller because it needs to fit. I just changed the scene because I hit my hotkeys. Okay, and now you want to add read from file instead of actually typing a text here. And you go to browse. You go to your OBS sources, and there's a text folder in here. Click that one and take blue team text. Open it. Let's go back to our pre-live scene so that you can actually see it. So it's up here. And what we're going to do is we use custom text extents again. So let's move it to where it belongs, down here. And increase the width. To see something. So we want it to be just before the verses, and now the height like that. And you see it's still not fitting. That is because the font is just too big. So we're gonna reduce that to maybe 80. Here we are. Probably want to move it a little bit to the left. So something like this. Okay, again, you can fiddle around with this more. And it will look better on your side. Let's have a center alignment, a vertical alignment, center 2. So now it's really in the middle, kind of. And I think the rest is fine. We can again add an outline to the text, so it's even more readable. But I think we are good here. So let's have that. We can lock it, and it will look something like this. So now the cool thing is if I load the different game on Soothsayer. So if I go to general, if I go to settings, and I just drop down here to eVest, round 3. Let's take the A-Team versus Creepy Crawly Spiders this time. Load it. And it takes some time, but eventually it will update. And now we have the A-Team in here. Okay. And maybe it's maybe a versus is a little bit too low. We can you cannot change that, but what we can do is we can get this a little bit lower, maybe. Well, we're gonna not fine tune this now. Okay, so now we obviously need the red team too. So what we're gonna do is, like, we could do all the same things again, but it would mean repeating a lot of steps which we have already done. So we're just gonna copy this and paste as duplicate. Rename it into red team. Red team text. We change the source from blue team to red team. And now we just move it over with our arrow key until, oh, it takes too long. We're gonna go and transform, add a transform, and just change this position until it is where we want it to be. Somewhere around here. And close and lock. Alright, oh, that's much better. Now we have our information in place about which team is actually going to face off here. What we are missing is the tournament logo. So let's just go to pregame, grab that, copy, paste this reference. Here's our team tournament logo. That's good. And now what we can also do is we can actually put the actual team logos in here as well. And that, of course, will be another Soothsayer source, but it's gonna be, unintuitively, it's gonna be a web source instead of an image source. So you might think it's probably an image, but no, it's a web source. So it's blue team logo. That's how we name it. And I think we keep here the aspect ratio of 800 to 600. That's fine. But we still need a local file. And we go back into OBS source, and you see there's like a blue team logo.html. This is the one we want. And as always, we refresh browser when scene becomes active. And here's the A-Teams logo. It's pretty big right now, but that's fine. We can just get this down to a proper size, and we can put it down here, or we can put it to the side, wherever you think it looks best, right? I'm gonna put it this time. I'm gonna put it down here. I don't know why. But this is what I'm gonna do. Okay, so as we noted sometime before, you can actually not duplicate web sources. So there's no need of copying this and pasting. I mean, I can copy it, but you see I cannot paste it as a duplicate. So I need to create a new web source actually. Alright, so this is red team logo. And you probably have an idea how this is going. Local file, we find the red team logo.html. Refresh the browser. Alright, here is Creepy Crawly Spiders logo. So now I could go and just like try to find it the same size as the A-Team and put it over here. But what I can also do is I can select this and I go to transform, copy transform. And when I select the other one, I go to transform, paste transform, and now they are exactly the same size. Okay. And now to keep it on the same level as the other logo, I just go to transform again, add a transform, and I'm just going to increase the position value here. I'm just going to move this over with a screen up scroll button on my keyboard. And give it some fine tuning here, and that looks about good. Okay, close this, lock it. And now we have both logos. And if I go to Soothsayer and I load a different game, everything which needs to be updated is getting updated. Here we are. Alright, so maybe you probably want to put that one a little bit further to the right. Something like this. Maybe you make it even smaller so that it fits into this bar. Whatever aesthetic you are after, you can do these things. I leave that to you. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. Maybe we want to use this space over here and like write something like stream starting soon or something like this, right? You get an idea. That would be another text. We would use the Nexa font or something similar, and write that over there, and we would be fine. Alright, so this is our pre-live screen, and I think this is already pretty long, so I'm just gonna cut it here and actually make the next episode about the post-live screen.